Remember the plan for Syria to completely destroy its chemical weapons stockpile? Well, it's run into some snags on multiple fronts. We'll have that and more right here, right now on the News Hub. Good morning and welcome. I'm Simon Constable. WSJ's Naftali Bendavid is monitoring the developments and he joins us now from our bureau in Brussels. Good morning, Naftali.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So this was a plan to get rid of a massive chemical stockpile in Syria. It's gone along to some extent. It has happened. What are the snags you've been writing about?
Well, there are two big ones. One is that while 92% of the chemicals have been removed, another 8% have not been removed. And that's kind of an important stash. It's not the biggest stash in the world, but it means that President Assad has not gone ahead and done what he said he was going to do. And it's hard for the international community to move ahead when not all the chemicals have been removed from Syria for destruction. But the other thing is that there have been these reports, which we need to say are currently unconfirmed, but there's been an increasing number of reports that Assad has been using chlorine gas against his own people. And until that can be straightened out, that's a real obstacle for the deal as well.
And that's a greenish yellow gas that basically burns people's lungs when it's breathed in. It's horrible. We have a graphic here about what's left. 27 metric tons of mustard gas, a sarin precursor, DF, and 73 tons of category 2 chemicals. There's 100 tons of this stuff, which is similar to what was used about a year ago and ended up killing about 1,400 people.
Yeah, particularly we're talking about the DF. The sulfur mustard has actually been removed, but DF, which is a sarin precursor, about 27 metric tons of that remains, and according to estimates by U.S. officials, that's enough for scores of attacks on the level of the kind we saw last August. So it's definitely an issue of concern for the international community.
And there were threats from the U.S. of airstrikes if Assad didn't comply. Is that likely to resurface again? I know that there have been some, issues about whether the U.S. wanted to do that, get drawn in, whether it would end up with boots on the ground. What is the feeling now you're getting?
Yeah, I mean, if you recall what happened, President Obama had threatened these airstrikes, but Congress refused to go along. And so when this deal to disarm Syria of its chemical weapons came along, it was sort of seized upon by the United States. And I think right now, if you talk to members of the administration, they're very, very wary about talking about airstrikes again, about raising that idea. I mean, airstrikes are fine, but if you don't have public support, if you don't have support from Congress, it's much trickier. My guess is that should there be a clear evidence of violation, the matter would be referred to the United Nations Security Council, and that's where any action or any punishment would take place.
Okay, June 30th deadline for Assad to get rid of those bad things. Thank you very much, Naftali Bendavid.